Welcome back everybody. Today we have another loot video. This time it's another 1000 master clues. As always, smash that subscribe button if you're new. Let's get right into it then. So we're starting this one then just under 59 bill. So we're hoping for a second age item this time for the base title. We'll take an Osh as well for sure. So first one in, we're in 490k. Followed by 288k. We'll re-roll that one into 1.5 mil. Okay, 1.2 mil. 1.2 mil. 308k. We'll re-roll that one into 2.4 and a cookie. Nice, not too bad. 407k. 1.4 mil. 396k. We'll re-roll that one then into 306k. 1.7 mil. 324k. 274k. 354k. 1.7 mil. 268k. 1.3 mil. 1.4. 410k. We'll re-roll that one. 238k. 101k. That's pretty low. We'll re-roll into 452k. 1 mil. 350k. 1.3 mil. 1.4 mil. 2.4 mil. 1.5 mil. 188k. We'll re-roll that one into 1 mil. 1.3 mil. 560k. 294k. We'll re-roll that one into 329. Re-roll into 348k. 1.5 mil. 397k. Re-roll into 254k. 637k. 638k. 1.4 mil. 1.6. 90k, that's pretty low. 620k. 211k. Reroll into 1.6 and another cookie. 1.5. 254k. 560k. 1.5 mil. 1.4. 344k. And to 1.4 mil. 280k. Reroll into 230k. 336k. 168k. Reroll. 325k. 1.4 mil. 264k. 263k. Reroll into 241k. 300k. 134k. 2.5 mil. That's our first 50 down. 390k. We'll reroll that one. 646k. 277k. 1.5 mil. 649k. 267k. Again, we'll reroll that one. So and into 300k. 1.4 mil. 1.4 mil. 304k. Reroll into 377k. 516k. 477k. 764k. 259k. We'll reroll that one into 411k. 288k. Reroll into 294k. 302k. 254k. Reroll into 753k. 337k. 1.4. 1.8 mil. 192k. Reroll into 1.4 mil. 99k. 257k. 265k. Reroll into 244k. 1.4 mil. 976k. 1.4 mil again. 194k. We'll reroll that one into 209k. 161k. Reroll into 41 mil. There's our first soul ornament kit. We'll take that, absolutely. Not bad at all. 6.3 mil. So we got a Reaper kit then back to back. 168k. 2.4 mil and our first Osh miss. 749k. 163k. Reroll into 267k. 4.1. Again, another Osh miss. 323k. Reroll into 262k. 1.3 mil. 1.1 mil. 680k. 1.3 mil. 1.3 mil again. 165k. 171k. Reroll into 397k. 1.6 mil. 502k. 1.5 mil. 244k. Reroll into 202k. We'll reroll again and to 1.3 mil. 170k, reroll into 209k, 208k, 3.7 mil, 1.3 mil, 406k, we'll reroll that one. That's their first 100 down. 240k, reroll into 246k, 1.4 mil, 60k, 341k, we'll reroll into 1.6 mil, 392k, 745k, 164k, we'll reroll that one into 1.3 mil, 209k, 1.4 mil, another cookie, 82k, reroll into 187k, 311k, 525k, 33k, that's super low, reroll into 1.5, 254k, 1.4 mil, 735k, 290k, we'll reroll that one then into 152k, 6.3 mil, another Reaper ornament kit, 2.7 mil, 217k, reroll into 6.1, so another Reaper kit, 4.4 mil, 246k, reroll into 332k, 1.2 mil, 848k, 131k, reroll into 172k, 157k, 216k, 140k, reroll into 256, 1.4 mil, 1.5 mil, 1.6 mil, 294k, reroll, and another Reaper kit. We're getting pretty unlucky on these. We're getting a lot of Reapers, but hardly any of the soul kits then. So 6.1 mil, 1.3 mil, 205k, we'll reroll into 800k, 235k, another Reaper kit, 6 mil, 217k, 400k, 925k, 241k, 1.5 mil, 1.3 mil, 354k, we'll reroll into 2.5 mil, 355k, reroll into 314k, 2.5 mil, 1.5 mil, 623k, 1.3 and another cookie, 477k, we'll reroll into another 477k, 598k, 1.7 mil, 1.4 mil, 1.1 mil, 446k, we'll reroll that one then into 264k, reroll again, 527k, 277k, 334k, reroll into 284k, we're back. Just had to clear some bank space there, rookie mistake. So next we have 463k, 1.5 mil, 206k, we'll reroll that one down into 295k, 156k, 1.5 mil, 529k, 870k, 1.3 mil, 1.5 mil, 606k, 41 mil, there we go, another soul kit, we'll take that, 1.4 mil, 225k, reroll, and 1.5 mil, 372k, reroll, into 4.3 mil, 239k, reroll, 415k, reroll, into 407k, 172k, 379k, 471k, we'll reroll that one into 172k, 260k, 1.4 mil, 398k, reroll, into 467k, 345k, 1.5 mil, 233k, reroll, into 316k, 221k, 1.5 mil, 2.5 mil, 1.3, 308k, we'll reroll that one into 284k, 306k, reroll, into 325k, 253k, 1.4 mil, 1.5 mil, 1.3 mil, 1.3 mil, 410k, reroll into 1.5, 271k, reroll into 1.6 mil, 278k, 357k, reroll into 370k and another cookie, 241k, 230k, 121k and another cookie, 691k. No, actually a couple of these cookies. Next then we have 328k, reroll into 1.5 mil, 377k, we'll reroll into 582k. That's 200 down, 800 to go. 807k, 497k, reroll into 722k. 287k, another cookie. 412k, reroll into 222k. We'll reroll again into 1.5. 1 million, 1.4 mil. 332k, we'll reroll that one into 1.2 and a double cookie. I haven't seen that actually in a long time. 286k, 170k reroll into 1.6, and we have our first Osh proc then as well. So next then we have 478k, we'll reroll into 189k, that wasn't bad. 852k, 1.5 mil, 192k, reroll into 420k. 400k, 1.4 mil, 396k, reroll into 217k. 391k and another cookie. 381k, reroll into 1.6 mil. 272k, we'll reroll that one into 1.3 mil. 276k, reroll into 424k. 461k, 392k, reroll into 263k. 1.3 mil, 252k, reroll into 201k. 1.5 mil, 303k, 158k, reroll into 1.4 mil. 463k, we'll reroll that one into 731k. 392k, reroll into 390k. 714k, 625k, 360k, we'll reroll into 1.5. 252k, reroll into 485k. 130k, 1.4 mil, 1.7 mil, 156k. 325k, reroll into 1.4 mil. 268k, reroll into 369k. 1.3 mil, 1.5 mil. 411k, we'll reroll that one into 249k. 1.5 mil, 398k. 6.2 mil, another Reaper kit. We're getting so unlucky getting a lot of Reaper kits and not that many soul kits. 1.3 mil, 401k, a reroll into 515k and an Oshproc. 259k, reroll into 236k. 737k, 120k, 311k, a reroll into 215k. We're a quarter of the way there. Another Reaper kit and another cookie. 7.3 mil. 201k, reroll into 362k. Reroll into 1.2 mil. 182k, reroll into 1.3 mil. 1.2 mil. 586k, 628k, 2.5 mil and another cookie. 1.6 mil, 1.4 mil, 632k. 2.8 mil, 98k, we'll reroll that one into 270k. Reroll into 276k, we'll reroll again to 191k. We need a couple more cookies. And a 475k, a reroll into 437k, reroll into 1.4 mil. 167k, a 395k, reroll into 1.3, 376k, 628k, 311k, we'll reroll into 521k. Another Reaper kit, 6.2 mil, 4.4 mil, 83k, we'll reroll that one into 1.4 mil, 1.3 mil, 213k, 207k, we'll reroll into 210k, 1.3 mil. There we go, another soul kit, then we'll take that. 41 million, not bad at all. 166k, reroll into 174k, 124k, 1.4 mil. 51k, reroll into 1.5 mil. 306k, 388k, 267k, reroll into 312k. 696k, 1.6 mil, 1.5 mil, 2.4 mil, another Oshmiss. 1.3 mil, 217k, we'll reroll that one then into 144k. Reroll into 202k, 221k, 266k, at 1.4, 207k. We'll reroll then with that one into 342k. 1.5 mil, 176k, reroll, and the 330k, 449k, 414k, 4.4 mil, 1.1 mil. That's 300 down. We're actually coming up on drop rate then for a broadcast, so hopefully get one here soon. 1.5 mil, 1.5 mil, 401k, and we'll reroll that one. 513k, 249k, we'll reroll into 178k, 424k, 1.3 mil, 245k, 207k, 1.5 mil, 1.4 mil, 1 mil, 100k. We'll reroll that one then into 376k, reroll into 360k, 279k, 376k, 2 mil, 244k. We'll reroll that one then into 361k, 1.5 mil, 241k. We'll reroll that into 280k, 273k, 399k. And next we have 1.5 mil, 350k. We'll reroll into 607k, 548k, 1.5, 1.3 mil, 1.4 mil, 232k. We'll reroll into 785k, 465k. Reroll into 684k, 230k, 1.3 mil, 300k. We'll reroll that one then into 455k, 279k, 697k, 393k, 449k, 1.4 mil, 1.4 mil, 364k. We'll reroll that one into 1.4 mil, 1.6 mil, 173k. Reroll into 393k. We'll reroll again into 335k, 1.4 mil, 358k. Reroll into 2.6 mil, 1.3 mil, 264k, 383k. Reroll into 289k, 257k, 313k, 211k. We'll reroll into 298k, 328k, 1.4 mil, and another Oshbrook. 284k. Reroll into 1.5 mil, 289k, 183k, 252k. Reroll into 446k, 150k, 1.4 mil, 1.4 and another cookie. 880k, 376k. Reroll into 1.3 mil, 429k. Reroll into 680k, 352k, 416k, 360k. Reroll into 192k, 1.3, 295k, 320k. Reroll into 1.6 mil, 2.6 mil, and another Oshmiss. 350k, 2.8 mil, 334k. Reroll 222k, 267k, 109k. We'll reroll that one into 331k. 41 mil, there's another soul kit, we'll take that absolutely. 282k and another cookie. 1.7 mil, 433k. We'll reroll into 547k. 1.9 mil, 220k. We'll reroll into 118k, 323k, 182k, 824k, 235k. We'll reroll that one then into 1.3, 238k, 296k. Reroll into a stack of FAQs. No way. That's not great at all. That's not what we wanted to see. Our first drop of the open, and then we're getting a troll. That's really not what we wanted to see for our first drop. It's still early though. We should have time to get at least 2 more drops, hopefully. When we get back to back though is the question. Never lucky. 1.6 mil, 1.3 mil, 1.6 mil, 872k, 1.4 mil, 1.4 mil, 1.4 mil, 231k, 485k reroll, 736k, 297k reroll, into 259k, 1.5 mil, 230k, 1.3 mil, 1.5 mil, 740k, 1.6 mil, 592k. We'll reroll that one into 1.9, 161k reroll, and we're down to 600 left then. 288k reroll into 1.3 mil, 432k, 270k, 1.2 mil, 223k reroll to 208k, 338k, 1.5 mil. Whoa, 2 Reaper kits in one, 12 mil. Take that. 213k reroll into 745k. There we go, another soul kit, 42 mil. Take that. 532k, 344k reroll into 107k. 1.4 mil, another cookie. 1 mil. 320k reroll into 750k. I will leave a couple more cookies. 1.4 mil. 308k. 449k reroll into 106k reroll into another Reaper kit. We've gotten so many Reaper kits this time. So that's 7.2 mil, 1.5 mil, 1.4 mil, 184k. We'll reroll into 597k, 875k, 284k reroll into 543k, 312k, 1.3 mil, 1.5 mil, 605k, 1.3 mil, 81k. That's a definite reroll. And to 1.5 mil, 402k reroll, and to 341k, 313k, 142k reroll to 279k. Have a couple more of these cookies. 2.6 mil, 197k reroll into 254k. Definite reroll into 1.3 mil. 7.4 mil, so another Reaper kit and another Oshprock. We're so far ahead on Reaper kits to the South Ornament kits. We're 11 behind on the Ornament kits. That's so unlucky. 1.4, 1.5, 278k reroll into 417k. Reroll into 254k. 506k, 431k, 461k. We'll reroll that one then into 721k. 474k, 1.4, 407k reroll into 459k. 877k, 248k, 448k. We'll reroll that one then and we get 628k. 280k, 1.3 mil, 4.4 mil, 259k. We'll reroll into 211k. 1 mil, 249k. Reroll into 1.2 mil, 4.5 mil, 1.6 mil, 406k. Reroll into 214k, 461k, 511k, 87k, and another cookie. 1.4 mil, 400k, 401k, and another cookie. 699k, 811k, 1.1 mil, 322k. Reroll into 100k. Reroll that one, then it's 251k. Another reroll into 3.7 mil, 1.3, 453k, 290k, 1.3, and another Ashbrock, not bad. 433k, 156k, 419k, reroll into 158k, 289k, 1.4 mil, 250k, reroll into 355k, 220k, 1.4 mil, 106k, we'll reroll into 337k, 1.5 mil, 2.4 mil, 262k, reroll into 1.3 mil, 1.5 mil, 320k, 2.6 mil, 2 mil, 198k, reroll into 2.5 mil, 1.3 mil, 285k, reroll into another Reaper kit, 7.3 million. Now we're now 12 ahead of the Reaper kits compared to the Soul, and they're a 50-50 chance, so unlucky. 374k, 1.4 mil, 2.7 mil, 1.5 mil, 1.4, 1.5 mil, 383k, reroll into 1.6 mil, 325k, reroll into 1.3 mil, 356k, reroll into 2 mil, 249k, 895k. There we go, there's a Soul kit, we'll take that. Back to back? No. 518k, we'll reroll into 91k, that was a bad one. 355k, reroll into 1.3. So yeah, so we're at the halfway point then, so it's 500 down, another 500 to go. 587k, there we go, we'll take that. It's not the best, but we'll take it. Barrows die, not the worst. Solid GP at least, 113 million. So at least we're getting some broadcast, which isn't too bad. Better than getting nothing at all. So let's get this Burrows die out. Let's get a second age item. That's what we need for the base title. Anyone will take. 973k, 1.4 mil, 256k. We'll reroll into 1.2 mil, 553k, 1.5 mil, 511k, 1.5 mil, 511k, 229k. We'll reroll into 257k, 1.4 mil, 264k, reroll into 404k, 345k, 307k, 176k, reroll into 253k, 173k, 171k, 969k, 4.4 mil, or 4.6 mil even, 646k and another Oshbrock, 284k, reroll into 837k, 388k, reroll into 1.4 mil, 1.3 mil, 255k, reroll, 1.3, 2.4 and another Oshbrock, 423k, 1.4 mil, 255k, we'll reroll that one then into 443k, 163k, 1.5 mil, there we go, another Soul kit then, 41 mil, we'll take that for sure, 1.3 mil, 244k, a reroll into 1.6 mil, 1.3 mil, 1.6 mil, 1.5, 328k, we'll reroll into 512k, reroll again into 4.6 mil, 614k, 1 million, 303k, we'll reroll that one into 704k, 2.6 mil, 1.4, 333k, reroll into 678k, 1.5 mil, 198k, reroll into 3.5, not bad, 274k, 394k and another cookie, 171k, we'll reroll that one then into 269k, we'll eat a couple more of these cookies then as well, 121k, reroll into 220k, reroll into 1.4 mil, we'll eat one more cookies, 362k, reroll into 282k, 2.5 mil, there we go, another Oshmiss, 161k, reroll into 272k, 341k, 161k, reroll into 1.2 mil, 275k, 330k, 215k, reroll, 264k, 260k, 335k, 418k, reroll into 1.2 mil, and 1.5 mil, another cookie, 135k, 2.6, 198k, reroll into 329k, We'll eat another cookie then. 410k, 378k. We'll reroll that one into 265k. Reroll again into 136k, 819k, 266k, 355k. Reroll into 2.6 million. That was a decent reroll. We'll take that for sure. 2.5 mil, 320k, 1 mil. 97k. We'll reroll that one into another Oshmiss, then 2.4 mil. 215k. 398k reroll into 1.4 mil. 4.5 mil. 138k. 378k reroll into 1.5 mil. 429k. 261k. 208k reroll into 412k. 341k. 2.1 mil. 1.3 mil, 327k, we'll reroll into 238k, 312k. There we go, nice. We'll take that. Big die, nice big shadow die. 1.1 bill, not bad. We're getting there. Slowly but surely, we're making some GP. That's huge GP. We'll take that. Let's get it out of the bank. If we could get one more broadcast, I'd be very happy. Not looking too shabby on the dies now overall. We have 11 shadows, 19 barrows, 16 ice, 1 third age, and 2 blood dies. We're actually overdue a third age die soon, so. 308k, a reroll into 291k, 1.5 mil, 477k reroll, 552k, 1.6 mil, 375k, at 1.4 mil, 1.4 mil, another cookie, 462k reroll into 1.4 mil, 355k reroll, 590k, 1.3 mil, 549k, 377k reroll into 1.4 at 3 mil. And we're down to our last 400 then, so still have quite some time left for it to get some more decent drops. 325k, 502k, 101k reroll into 303k at 1.4 mil, 188k reroll into 2.4 mil, 288k at 1.3 mil, and there we go, another Reaper kit then, 6.1 mil, at 298k reroll into 1.3 mil, at 318k, 331k, reroll into 366k, at 535k, 339k, at reroll into 380k, at 1.3 mil, 296k, 256k, 369k, reroll into 1.3 mil, 1.4 mil, 1.5 mil, 1.3 mil, 330k, reroll into 2.5 mil, 255k, reroll into 1.5 mil, 2.5 mil, 1.6, 766k, 440k, we'll reroll that one then into 1.4, 111k, 1.3 mil, 1.4 mil, 2.3 mil, 348k, reroll into 1.3 mil, 158k, we'll reroll that one then into 220k, 255k, 79k, that's a definite reroll into another Reaper kit then, so 7.2 mil, 1.5 mil, we'll eat another cookie, 442k, reroll into 1.2 mil, 287k, reroll into 1.6, 453k, 1.6 mil, 250k, reroll into 80k, 364k, 400k, 362k, reroll into 1.4, 269k, 181k, 1.4, 1.2, 1.4, 224k, we'll reroll that one into 1.4 mil, 493k, 1.5 mil, 360k, reroll into 1.6 mil, 223k, we'll reroll that one into 195k, 437k, 340k reroll into 332k, 241k, 2.6 mil, 1.5 mil, 1.4, 235k, we'll reroll that one into 337k, 2.3 mil, another Osh miss, 1.4 mil, 228k, reroll into 270k, 1.4 mil, 203k, reroll into 292k, 211k, 1.3 mil, 511k, 206k, we'll reroll that one then into 1.3 mil, 377k, reroll into 1.5 and another cookie, 1.4 mil, 1.2 mil, 260k, reroll into 1.5 mil, 1.4 mil. There we go, another Sky. That's 4 broadcasts so far, so we have 2 poop dies, Shadow and an Effigies. We're getting trolled a little bit, but let's get this one out then too. We have 324 left then, so we may have one more left in the tank there. Can we get it back to back? Nah, never lucky. 372k, reroll into 2.4 mil, 1.4 mil, 628k, 679k, 306k, and another Oshbrock, 292k, reroll, 1.3 mil, 476k, 79k, 281k, another Oshbrock, 1.4 mil, 196k, and another Oshbrock, 224k, reroll into 392k, 392k, 462k, 305k, reroll into 441k, 190k, 241k, 366k, reroll into 334k, 1.5 mil, 371k, 1.4 mil, 2.6 mil, 931k, 370k, 180k, 231k, reroll into 396k, 543k, and we're down to 300 left to go. At 504k, 1.6, 1.5, 1.2 mil, 352k, reroll into 338k, reroll into 635k, and another Reaper kit then 6.1 mil, 1.5, 265k, we'll reroll that one into 2.7 mil, 292k, 288k, reroll into 1.4 mil, 375k, 0.3 mil, 199k, we'll reroll that one then into 1.5 mil, 200k, 112k, 243k, reroll into 1.4 mil, and there we go, another soul kit then 42 mil, we'll take that, 399k, 343k, 1.4 mil, 147k, 2.5 mil, 2.8 mil, 216k, we reroll that one then into 243k, 383k, reroll into 437k, 1.3 mil, 1.5 mil, 258k, reroll into 428k, 443k, 124k, 1.4 mil, 295k, 536k, 186k, 327k, 287k, 256k, 693k, at 1.5 mil, at 246k, we'll reroll that one then into 1.3 mil. There we go, another soul kit then, we'll take that, F41 mil, at 1.4 mil, 1.8 mil, 2.5, 174k, reroll that one into 722k, at 343k, reroll into another Reaper kit 6.1 mil, at 1.2 mil, 1.6 mil, 1.2 mil, 347k reroll into 401k, 389k reroll into 189k, 124k, 471k, 1.5 mil, 1.5 mil, 233k reroll into 122k, 297k. We'll reroll that one into 1.6 mil, 264k, 3.6 mil, 1.6 mil, 1.6 mil, 329k, 1.5 mil, 1.4 mil, 1.4 mil, 288k, 268k reroll, 227k reroll in 350k, 277k, 1.6 mil, 1.4 mil, and another rebrick it then 6.1 mil, 200k reroll into 159k, reroll into 416k, 2.9 mil, 230k, 358k, 1.4 mil, 900k, 1.4, 168k, reroll into 357k, 331k, 635k, 274k, 497k, and 1.5 mil another cookie, 232k. We'll need a couple of cookies. So 297k into 2.5 mil, 371k reroll into 1.5 mil, 295k reroll into 281k, 1.3 mil, 351k reroll into 167k, 8.4 another rebrick it. Hate that. 253k reroll into 223k, 407k, 1.3 mil, 3.4 another Osh miss, 423k reroll into 1.4 mil, 1.4 mil, 369k reroll into 1.3, 228k, 805k, 359k reroll into 241k, 325k, 2.5 mil, 916k, 175k reroll into 348k, 244k, 413k, reroll into 1.4 mil, 353k, 1.6 mil, 312k reroll into 395k, 1.6, 479k, 300k reroll into 316, 412k, 217k, 689k, 2.5 mil, 142k, 1.3 mil, 355k reroll into 1.5 mil, 383k, 418k, 141k reroll into 131k, 1.5 mil, 93k and another cookie, 1.6 mil, 547k reroll into 2.7 mil, 2.8 mil, 1.3 mil, 1.3 and another cookie, 4.4 mil, 1.4 mil, 2.6 mil, 809k, 233k reroll into 356k reroll to 281k reroll to 1.4 mil, 1.5 mil, 368k, 1.4 mil, 278k reroll into 466k, 1.3 mil, 456k reroll to 399k, 2.2 mil, 290k, 1.6 mil, 87k another cookie, 81k another cookie, 1.4 mil, 442k reroll, 314k reroll into 268k, 340k, 2.8 mil, 1.4 mil, 2.4 mil, 291k, 1.4 mil, 256k reroll into 1.5 mil, 239k, 1.4 mil, 2.4 mil, 200k, reroll into 170k, 516k, 375k, 2.4 mil, 296k, 224k, we'll reroll that one to 340k, 144k, 1.4 mil, 591k, 400k reroll into 1.5, 218k, 203k reroll into 260k, 2 mil and another Oshprock, we'll take that. 2.9 mil, 2.5 mil, 297k reroll, 1.5 mil, 1.5 mil, 527k, 277k reroll, and to 530k, 186k, 1.4 mil, 344k reroll, into 1.4 mil, 2.4, another Oshmiss, 394k reroll, the 560k, 218k, 359k, 2.4, 1.5, 2.8 mil, 511k, 392k reroll, 203k, at 1.3 mil, 305k, and another cookie, another Reaper kit, then we'll take that. 504k reroll into 75k, 236k, 2.4, 454k, another cookie, 1.8 mil, 542k, reroll into 237k, reroll into 1.4 mil. We'll need a couple of these cookies, just get them over and done with. $116k, reroll into 3 mil. $1.4 mil, 270k reroll into 2.6 mil, 1.4 mil, 1.3 mil, 691k, 2.7 mil, 225k reroll into 261k, 1.6 mil, 450k reroll, and we're down to our final 100, 635k, 1.4 mil, 334k reroll, 299k reroll into 244k reroll into 270k, and another Oshprock, 361k, 249k, 1.5, 1.5, 204k reroll into 531k, 4.4 mil, 289k reroll into 344k, 252k, 1.4 mil, 323k reroll into 543k, 1.4 mil, 113k reroll into 443k, 425k, and another cookie, 1.5 mil, 1.4 mil, 1.4 mil. We'll need a couple more cookies then just to get them used. 212k reroll into 1.4 mil, 266k reroll into 1.4 mil, 1.4 mil, 127k reroll, 328k reroll into 1.7 mil, 273k reroll, the 213k reroll, 227k, at 1.5 mil, 2.4, and another Oshmiss, 257k, reroll into 226k, 244k, 205k, 1.7 mil, 1.6 mil, 454k reroll into another soul kit then, just under 41 mil, and that is a double Oshmiss in one, 4.5 mil, 1.6 mil, 790k, 447k reroll into 246k, reroll into 221k, 429k, 325k, 381k, reroll into 371k, 347k, 2.5 mil, 178k, reroll into 299k, 488k, 1.4 mil, 642k, 297k, reroll into 1.3, and another Oshprock, 353k, 323k, reroll into 432k, 2.5 mil, 6.1 mil, another Reaper kit, 234k reroll, and we're down to our final 50 then, so 442k, 305k, 1.3 mil, 1.4 mil, 1.3 mil, 894k, 223k reroll into 131k, reroll into 340k, 402k, 1.3 mil, 267k, 2.6 mil, 1.5 mil, 583k, 314k reroll into 1.4 mil, 262k, 173k, 364k reroll into 1.4 mil, 478k, 395k, 205k reroll into 116k, 256k, 1.4 mil, 322k, 688k, 2 mil, 365k reroll into 240k, reroll into 498k at 1.3 mil, and we're down to our final 25, which is generally where all the luck is held, so hopefully it is that way for us again. 717k, 600k, 41 mil, another soul kit, we'll take that. 372k, we'll reroll to 962k, 1.5 mil, 279k, reroll into 279k, 537k, 381k, reroll into 1.3 mil, 1.4 mil, 684k, another Reaper kit then, 6.3 mil, 353k, reroll into 1.5 mil, 293k, 0.4, 1.7, we're down to our last 10, 320k and another cookie, 380k, reroll into 213k and another cookie, at 1.3. Do you know what, we'll use up a couple of more cookies then just for the last few. 411k reroll into 1.3 mil, 1.3 mil, 849k, 447k reroll into 385k, reroll again into 381k, reroll into 273k, 1.3 mil, 1.4 mil, and the last one then is a soul kit then, so we're not going to reroll that one then, but so that's not bad at all. We'll take that then to finish up for sure. So let's see what our finishing GP is on then. So we're just under 62 bill. So we started on 58.9 bills. So we're talking, yeah, so just there on about 3 bill then for the opening then. So not bad at all. We'll take that for sure. So that's another loot video done. We made some nice GP. So subscribe if you're new and comment below if you have any suggestions for future content. Until then, see ya.